and we are going to talk about game books. 2 days ago, we talked about Ian Livingstone and Steve Jackson, the absolute masterminds, the iconic figures of the adventure game books genre. And then we talked about John Deva, and today it is Jonathan Green. I spent basically all day sessions on Twitter, that is now X, between 2009 and 2019, so 10 years, little bit more than 10 years. And I remember when it came out in Hungary, the first Jonathan Green adventure book, it was the Dracula. Oh my God. It was very, very well received. I cannot say another book. It could be a novel, a romantic novel, or anything else, except maybe The Alchemist by Coelho, who was this well received and talked about. Jonathan Green. And then the most important thing about the adventure game books, if you don't know, that people are reading it, playing it together with friends. And actually, I was following someone who is live tweeting, going through the book Dracula by Jonathan Green. Why? They were visiting someone, and all the youngsters, the same age, they sat together and they were going through it. They playing, and they were laughing and stuff when they kind of died when the game was over, and they needed to somehow backtrack where they were, so because they didn't want to start the book from the very beginning. So there was like a little bit of cheating, they needed to find the last chapter when they made the wrong choice, made the wrong turn. And yeah, it was so great to follow them along. Live tweeting, if you don't know, it means that when you read the book like this, and anytime something happens that you like or you don't like, you immediately type it in on social media and post it, and there will be thousands and thousands of people who are reacting to it, like me, following it. And we'll always remember Jonathan Green, who made such a wave on Twitter, that is now X, when the Dracula book came out. So after Ian Livingstone, Steve Jackson, and Joe Diva, Jonathan Green, I didn't even have to think about it. It was, I was pretty sure it was Jonathan Green we're gonna talk about today. And actually, I have books on the shelves right here in London, UK. Today is 2nd of December. This is my 24 chocolate advent calendar, and because this is the 2nd of December, we're gonna open the second window. I needed to actually look for it, where's the second window, and it's right here. Well, it's not like an adventure game book. Here you kinda can see what you're gonna get, what's behind the window, because the very first one, which was right here, we opened it yesterday. It had the shape of basically a rabbit or the reindeer, because they look like a rabbit if you look at them. Yeah, it was basically the ear, but it's like this. Anyway, it's the reindeer. Yesterday we got the reindeer. Today, the 2nd of December, here the window with the number. Yeah, and at the back there's a board. You can identify the shapes, and I believe we're gonna open it at the end of this live YouTube video. I think it's gonna be a Swiss milk chocolate Napolitains. Ooh, very interesting. This is from Lindt. I don't really like, because the advent calendars, basically you counting back the days until Christmas. It's very religious. I don't really like when companies put their logo there and stuff, but probably they do it. Probably the customers, they prefer it because it's about quality purposes. They know what they're gonna get, and yeah, Lindt is quite fine. We are in London, and Lindt just opened a new shop. Yeah, at Piccadilly Circus. Yeah, they're not sponsoring this live video. I'm just saying that because it's in here, and we're gonna open it at the end of this session. But right now, let me put it somewhere. But right now, all eyes on Jonathan Green, and this is the darkness over Arkham. Arkham Horror. I'm gonna read up a couple of pages. It is the height of the roaring 20s, that is the 1920s. A fresh enthusiasm for the arts, science, and exploration of the past have opened doors to the wider world and beyond. And yet, a dark shadow grows over the town of Arkham. Alien entities known as the Ancient Ones lurk in the emptiness beyond space and time, withering at the thresholds between the worlds. Occult rituals must be stopped and alien creatures destroyed before the Ancient Ones make our world their ruined dominion. Only a handful of brave souls with inquisitive minds and the will to act stand against the horrors threatening to tear this world apart. Will they prevail? I absolutely love this sort of opening for the adventure game book. And especially this one, the Arkham Horror. I bought it because of Jonathan Green. I didn't know about this world. And when you open it, this was the first page. When you open, the next page, it says that you don't have to know the rules, you don't have to know anything, you can just dive right in. And I absolutely love that because I remember growing up, I was always very bored when I was reading to the rules. But later on, I learned that it's very important to learn the rules because many times when you are on low on your points and you know the rules, you know how to, get some points without the story telling you, and that is so very very important. Especially if you read the ones from Ian Livingstone and Steve Jackson. Whenever that, I absolutely love when they do something like this. There's a question at the end of the chapter. You want to go further on this in this dark corridor, and you can say yes or no. You can just leave, or you can proceed. And then something happens, and you lose points. You got hurt, or something like that. Your character got hurt, and you need to think about it. If it's worth to invest your time and energy, your points, to proceed even further. And then you say, okay, yes, do it. Maybe we're gonna find something, some object, something that we can use later. What something, it must be worth, go further. And you go again further, a few steps. Again, you're gonna get hurt. You're gonna lose objects. You're gonna lose points. You're gonna lose stamina. You're gonna lose, and again, you're gonna go further or not. And at this point, it's not tempting anymore because you invested so much and you lost so much points. So you don't really want to go any further. So you go like no, and then you, because it's a book like this, it's like you can kind of like cheat and stuff, but obviously when you cheat you kind of ruin the game for yourself. You shouldn't do it at all. So but I always like, let's go further, and sometimes it's worth it, sometimes it's not. I was a couple of days ago, actually, I was listening to a podcast. It was a very long podcast, 1 hour long podcast with one gentleman who has a very interesting job. Imagine printed out magazines, and actually there's a whole creative team working on the covers every single week. So basically, every single week there are like 2-3 days they don't sleep. They get from the editor in chief, get the main article. Maybe they're gonna get the whole article, maybe part of the article, and that's it. After that, it's a sprint. You need to come up with a very good idea that they're gonna put on the cover of the magazine, the printed out magazine, because the cover still sells. And this guy was interviewing, and it was very interesting to listen to him. And basically, like in my life, in his life, the adventure game books, he felt the first time, this creative energy coming up, that he wants to do something similar, something like this. He gave up and he became an artist. He became a stand-up comedian, and he's doing the cover art for magazines, one of the top-selling magazine actually. And he said that on his shelf, even today, even after like 20, 30, 40 years, he has on the shelf the classic Ian Livingstone, Steve Jackson book, where you are in this building, in this tower, and you need to look for the wizard, and you going up and down, and you opening the doors, and you looking for the wizard. And he said after 20, 30, 40 years he couldn't he couldn't find the wizard at all, and it's making him so depressed, but he still keeps it on the shelf. And if he needs to say something that what gives him anxiety, it would be definitely this book. And he said that, and it holds a very important lesson for him, because playing the book gives him anxiety. It's very stressful for him. It's not fun at all. It's not entertaining at all. But in the same time, he really likes the chapters. He really likes the story. He really likes the little details of it. So when he became a professional stand-up comedian, when he became a professional cover artist who designed the covers for this magazine, he always think of this, that every single step must be entertaining and good. The whole thing, the whole package, not just the little details, not just the chapters, not just the character, not just the word, the colors, and all this stuff, the whole thing. Because he said that he absolutely loves this kind of branching out storytelling, but for some reason that all the time he's making his choice, and he falls on his face. He's losing points, he's losing objects, and he's not really successful. It gives him anxiety. But that's the point of the game. That's why it's like, what's at stake. This is very important. What's at stake, and lots of things needs to be at stake. So that's why it's going to be very interesting, and very exciting. But he did not like that at all. And then he keeps the book, this adventure game book, on the shelf even today, just to think about the whole process, what he's actually selling when he's a stand-up comedian, when he's a cover artist. And I absolutely love this kind of thinking. But if we make adventure game books that is very easy, you just like go through it like a novel, and it's like romantic, and the main character find a woman and overcome everything. It's like it's not that. It's like a story written with invisible ink. I don't think it would not give anxiety to anyone, and everyone would love it, but I don't think it would be really successful, isn't it? No, I don't think so. I want to talk about Jonathan Green, because from all the authors out there who is doing adventure game books, I think he's the most knowledgeable ones. He sees the whole structure in his head. Others one, many times when I read adventure game books, I kind of feel that these guys that making this up on the way. But Jonathan Green, if I need to choose one author who doesn't work like that, it must be Jonathan Green. Absolutely the one. I imagine his office like someone who is designing a spaceship or something, or a submarine, where you cannot make a mistake. I think every single, before he starting the book, I think he has every single detail down in his notes, in everything. It's like, that when you watch a Hollywood thriller with the guy, the investigator, his office, and everywhere, like this clipped out articles and printed out articles, and lots of papers hanging from the ceiling and from everywhere, and you have this kind of red strings, connecting the dots. I think Jonathan Green office must be must be like that. Just because when you read him, when you read his work, you absolutely feel that this guy thinks ahead. He's not the one who's enjoying the writing, because the whole book is written 1,000 times in his head. Oh my God, he is like, when you walk in his world, is this part is like walk 1,000 times, and when you think about it like that, you feel where he's there to help you to succeed. So you're not gonna get that sort of anxiety what you get from other books, visiting the world of Orange and stuff. And oh my God, this guy is very interesting, and he's still working on books, and I think he gonna come out with like hundreds of other books that will change the genre, this adventure game book genre. Like, I think this whole genre gonna be completely different in 10 years times, because he's working on a book right now that will change everything, and this is so great. Oh my God, I should do an interview with him. Jonathan Green, come here. Let's meet me. See you later.